And we begin this morning with a live look over downtown Fort Wayne. This is your 21Alive morning news Fastcast. Hopefully your day is off to a good start. You've had a cup of coffee and you're ready to head out the door. It's a nice start to the day here in Fort Wayne, although I will say it is chilly, so grab a jacket. We'll get to all of that in just a few minutes, but first we want to talk about Hurricane Milton as it made landfall overnight, and Milton remains a Category 1 storm as it moves offshore. As of 5 a.m. Eastern Time, the storm was leaving Florida and heading to the north of the Bahamas later today. The National Hurricane Center warns that damaging hurricane-force winds, gusts, and heavy rainfall will continue in northeastern Florida through the morning. Hurricane Milton came ashore near Siesta Key as a dangerous Category 3 storm yesterday evening, and according to the National Hurricane Center, the eye made landfall about 7 miles south of Sarasota, packing 120-mile-per-hour winds. Even before fully coming ashore, there were more than 24 tornadoes with reports of multiple fatalities. Milton also dropped 16 inches of rain in St. Pete, representing a more than 1 in 1,000 year rainfall for the area. And there are so many elements to this storm, Caleb, that we need to talk about. Before the storm officially made landfall, there were so many tornadoes in Florida. Can we start by talking about that?
Yeah, so there's a couple of stats that I want to point out, and one of which is the tornado, because the number of tornado warnings that were issued from the National Weather Service with Milton just yesterday was astounding. 126 tornado warnings were issued for central and southern Florida yesterday because of Milton. The hurricane moved into an atmosphere that also had some wind shear with it already, so there was already some added rotation in there outside of Milton. So it was the hurricane was aided by the fact that the wind shear was in place to create so many storms that were rotating. 126 tornadoes seems unlikely that they occurred, but that's the number of warnings that were issued by the National Weather Service. And I saw a statistic this morning, another one, that said Tampa received a little over 11 inches of rain yesterday. To put that in perspective, the most rainfall they've ever received in the month of October is just over 10 inches. So they broke their October rain record in one day.
Yeah, this is a devastating storm, Caleb, because it comes after Hurricane Helene. Now we have Milton and that record rainfall. And it's kind of tricky because this storm hit overnight, so we haven't been able to see all of the impacts that this storm has brought. As it starts to get light out this morning, we're going to see more of that.
Yeah, and this is the latest on Milton that we're seeing right now. It's still a Category 1 hurricane. It's now off the east coast of Florida. Max sustained winds in some parts estimated to be about 85 miles per hour. Milton is forecast to go out to sea, so there will still be some impacts along the coast, but the heart of the storm is going to go out to sea and it's going to weaken. Right now, we're experiencing some wind gusts in parts of Florida upwards of 60 miles per hour. Daytona Beach, last reported wind gust was at 59 miles per hour. It was 74, 75 miles per hour just 15, 20 minutes ago when we were on air. So that gives an indication that things are starting to calm down, but there's still some impacts from the storm surge along Florida's east coast, up through Georgia, and into South Carolina. The storm surge is not expected to be as heavy as it was in the west coast of Florida, but still up to 6 feet up through Jacksonville, and then parts of Georgia and South Carolina, the storm surge potentially up to 3 feet. So that's the latest on Milton. We'll continue to track it. Let's talk about the weather at home. I've issued a sweater alert because it is chilly out there. Temperatures are currently sitting in the low to mid 40s. Let's go ahead and backtrack there. We're at 43 here in Fort Wayne. Columbia City, the current temperature is at 37 degrees, and tomorrow is going to be a pretty chilly start as well, but afternoon temperatures today, not too bad. We're going to climb up into the upper 60s for the high. I've got us at about 68, 69 degrees. We're going to see plenty of sunshine, but as we get into the weekend, we're going to start to see some changes. You can see if you've got those windows open, you're probably going to want to shut them because those temperatures are going to fall. You can see on Sunday, we're in the upper 60s for the highs overnight into Monday morning. Those temperatures are going to drop down into the 40s. And then as we start next week, temperatures are going to dip down into the mid 30s on Tuesday night into Wednesday morning, and then Wednesday night again into Thursday morning. So, Kayla, definitely when people are sending the kids off to the school, bus stop next week, whatever it is, those morning plans, it's going to be very, very cold. They'll definitely want the sweaters, definitely want the jackets. And very likely they're probably going to be experiencing some frost. I mean, I would not be surprised if we're talking widespread frost next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, which nobody's really ready for it, I feel like, ever, but this is the time of year we typically experience our first frost.
Yeah,
so.
We've had a really nice fall so far. It's been mid-60s, 70s. Yes, the mornings are a little chilly, but to have the 30s next week, oh boy.
I mean, I'm looking forward to it. I like the fall weather.
The 30s?
I like the cold.
What?
I'm not a fan of like mid 80s, low 90s.
But right now, like the 70s.
Right now it's comfortable. Oh yeah,
okay.
yeah. The afternoon's very comfortable. 60s, even into the 70s, still comfortable. But I do like a crisp, just a crisp fall morning is one of my favorite things.
Whew, okay, well, Caleb, we're going to agree to disagree on that.
Fair enough.
I'll have my hats and gloves ready.
Appreciate it.
All right, Caleb, thank you. And finally from us today, it is a day to celebrate an especially delicious art form. It's National Cake Decorating Day. Dessert dating back for centuries is being celebrated with a modern twist. Decorated cakes carry out the theme for many of life's key celebrations, from birthdays to weddings and more. Caleb, what is your favorite flavor of cake? Tough question, I know.
Oh, tough question. Probably chocolate. Chocolate cake, but I like all types of sprinkles and this and that. Like, give me a good cake with a good frosting. Like, I'm pretty easy. So, what about yourself?
My favorite cake is a carrot cake with cream cheese frosting, and my granny makes the best homemade carrot cake. She shaves all of the carrots. She puts so much work into it, so it is so delicious. It's my favorite.
Yeah, you know what? I really like carrot cake too.
It feels healthy, right? Because there's carrots in it.
That's the trick, right? It feels healthy.
Yeah.
It's not healthy, but it feels healthy.
We can say it is. It's fine, All right, awesome. Caleb, thank you so much, and thanks for joining us on this Fastcast. We are back on the air at 9 this morning. We hope to see you then.